Hey guys, before I even start, I need you to promise me you'll watch until the very end. Because what happened to me last month still keeps me up at night, and I swear every word you're about to hear is 100% real. My name is Ethan. I'm 29, I do graphic design freelance, and I live that boring digital nomad life everyone thinks is cool until you're alone in some random town at 2 a.m. with no one to talk to. Last October I needed a quiet place to finish a big client project, so I booked a cheap Airbnb for 10 days in this tiny mountain town in North Carolina called Black Hollow. Population 412. The listing looked perfect: cute blue cottage, wraparound porch, fast Wi-Fi, 5-star reviews, superhost badge, the whole thing. $68 a night. I thought I hit the jackpot. I rolled up on a Wednesday afternoon. The drive from Charlotte was 3 hours of winding roads and zero cell service for the last 30 minutes, which already had me a little on edge. When I finally pulled into the gravel driveway, the house looked exactly like the photos, almost too exact. Like someone had color-graded real life. The host, Sarah, had left the key in a lockbox and texted me the code. No meet and greet. Fine by me, I'm awkward with small talk anyway. Inside smelled like lemon cleaner and old wood. Everything was spotless. White walls, gray couch, those fake plants people put in every Airbnb now. I dropped my bags, set up my laptop on the dining table, and started my normal routine: unpack, grocery run, take a photo for Instagram stories so my mom stops worrying. That first evening was peaceful. Too peaceful. Like the kind of quiet where you can actually hear your own heartbeat. No birds. No cars. No neighbors. Just wind pushing against the windows. That night I cooked pasta, watched 2 episodes of some Netflix show, and went to bed around midnight. The bedroom was upstairs, big window facing the forest. I remember pulling the curtains closed because the darkness out there felt heavy. Like it was watching back. I laughed at myself for being dramatic and fell asleep. Next morning, everything still normal. I made coffee, answered emails, took a walk around the property. The backyard dropped off into thick pines, no fence, just trees forever. While I was out there I noticed something tiny, but it stuck with me. There was a patch of grass near the tree line that looked pressed flat, like someone had been lying there watching the house. Could have been a deer. Probably was a deer. I took a photo anyway because my brain wouldn't let it go. Days 2 and 3 were the same. Work, cook, scroll on my phone, sleep. But little things started piling up, so small I felt stupid even noticing them. Like, every time I came back from the grocery store, the throw blanket on the couch was folded differently than how I left it. Neater. I'm kind of messy, so I just thought I was finally turning into an adult or something. Then there was the downstairs bathroom mirror. Sometimes when I'd walk past, I'd catch a weird reflection, like the glass was a half-second behind. I told myself it was cheap glass warping. Happens. The silence got louder too. At night it wasn't just quiet, it felt muffled, like the house was holding its breath. I started leaving Spotify playing softly when I worked just to hear another human voice. Okay, here's where it gets a tiny bit weird, the first thing I couldn't explain away. It was Friday night, day 4. I was exhausted, crashed on the couch with all the lights on because why not, I'm an adult paying the electric bill. I woke up around 3:17 a.m. with that sudden jolt you get when you fall asleep in a weird position. The TV had turned itself off. Whatever, sleep timer. But as I sat up, rubbing my neck, I noticed the front door was open. Not wide open, just cracked, maybe 2 inches. A thin line of cold air sliding in. I know for a fact I locked it. I'm paranoid about that stuff. I triple-check locks. Always. I walked over, heart already going a little fast, and pushed it shut. Deadbolt clicked. Chain 2. I stood there for a second staring at the door, telling myself wind must have blown it or the house settled weird. Old houses do that, right? Then I looked down. On the welcome mat, right inside the door, there was one perfect barefoot print. Wet. Like someone had just stepped out of the shower and walked across the mat, except the print was way too long and narrow to be mine. And the toes, they looked stretched. Too thin. I stared at it for probably 30 seconds before my brain kicked in and I grabbed my phone to take a picture. But when I looked back down, the print was already fading, like the water was evaporating way faster than it should. 10 seconds later, nothing. Mat was bone dry. I stood there until sunrise with every light in the house on, checking the doors and windows every 5 minutes. Guys. I still had 6 nights left on the booking. I should have left right then. But I didn't. If you're still here after part 1, thank you. And also, I'm sorry, because it only gets worse from here. That barefoot print on the mat? That was just the hello. Saturday morning I woke up on the couch, neck killing me, every light still blazing. I checked the mat again. Nothing. No water ring, no print, no proof. For a second I almost convinced myself I dreamed it. Almost. I messaged the host, Sarah, on the Airbnb app. Super casual, hey. Weird question, has anyone else had issues with the front door popping open? It happened last night and kind of freaked me out. Thanks. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then nothing. She never replied. That was the first time her superhost energy felt off. I tried to work, but I couldn't focus. Every tiny noise made me jump. Around noon I decided fresh air would help, so I drove the 15 minutes into town for coffee. Black Hollow has one main street, one gas station, one diner. I went inside the diner to kill time. The second I walked in, conversation stopped. Like full-on movie moment. 5 old guys at the counter all turned and stared. Not rude staring, just empty. Like they were waiting for me to do something. I ordered a coffee to go and tried small talk with the waitress. Nice town. Quiet. She smiled too big. Oh, you staying up at the Blue House? Yeah, the Airbnb on Ridge Road. Her smile froze. That house has been empty a long time. I laughed nervously. No, I'm there right now. Booked it for 10 days. She just nodded slowly and handed me my change without another word. When I got back to the cottage, my laptop was open on the dining table. I had closed it before I left. 100%. And there was a new Word document on the desktop titled Ethan. Inside, one line in size 72 font, you left the door open again. I felt my stomach drop into my feet. I slammed the laptop shut and unplugged it. Checked every room. Nobody. All windows locked from inside. I called my best friend Marcus on FaceTime and showed him the screen. Dude, that's not funny. I didn't write it. I swear. He told me to calm down, that maybe the host has remote access for some reason. I knew that didn't make sense, but I wanted to believe anything normal. That night I couldn't sleep. I dragged the mattress downstairs and slept, or tried to, in the living room with the TV loud. Around 2 a.m. my phone started getting calls from a private number. Over and over. I rejected them all, but on the 7th call I answered just to scream at whoever it was. Silence. Then breathing. Slow, wet breathing right into the speaker. And a whisper so quiet I almost missed it, cold in here. I hung up and turned my phone off completely. 10 minutes later, the landline phone in the kitchen rang. Guys, this house didn't even have a landline phone. There was a jack in the wall, but no phone. Yet I heard it clear as day, that old-school ring echoing from the kitchen. I walked in holding a kitchen knife like an idiot. Nothing was there. The ringing stopped the second I stepped into the room. I barely slept. Sunday morning I found scratches on the outside of the upstairs bedroom window. 3 long lines in the glass, too high for an animal. Like fingernails dragged down while someone stood on the porch roof. I drove back to town and basically begged the diner waitress to talk. She looked scared. Said the house used to belong to a woman who disappeared in 2019. Nobody ever found her. After that, owners tried to rent it, but guests kept leaving early. Some said they heard crying inside the walls. Others said they felt watched every second. The town just pretends the house is empty now. I asked why nobody leaves reviews about it on Airbnb. She gave me this sad smile. Check again. I did. Every single 5-star review was from accounts with 0 profile pictures and generic names like John S. or Family Trip. And every review was exactly 52 words long. All of them. I counted 10 reviews, 520 words total. That's not normal. Sunday night I barricaded the front door with the couch and both dining chairs. I sat up with the lights on, watching the windows. At 3:33 a.m. exactly, every light in the house turned off at once. Not flickered, off. Like someone flipped the breaker. Pitch black. Then footsteps. Slow, bare feet on hardwood, starting from the kitchen, walking toward the living room where I was. Step, step, step. I held my breath. The footsteps stopped right in front of the couch barricade. I couldn't see anything, but I felt cold air move, like something leaned over the couch toward me. I whispered, "Please leave me alone," like a total coward. The temperature dropped so fast I saw my own breath. Then the footsteps walked away, up the stairs, and the bedroom door slammed so hard the walls shook. Lights came back on by themselves. I grabbed my keys and ran to my car in boxers and a hoodie. Started it and just sat there shaking. That's when I noticed the fog on my windshield, inside the car. Someone had drawn a perfect handprint. Palm flat, fingers way too long. Right at my eye level. And underneath it, letters scratched into the glass. "You let me in." I floored it out of there doing 80 down a 35 miles per hour mountain road with no headlights because I was scared to stop. I thought that was the worst night of my life. It wasn't even close. I never should have gone back. After I peeled out of the driveway that Sunday night, I drove straight to the only motel in Black Hollow, a sketchy little place with flickering neon. I paid cash, didn't sleep, just sat on the bed fully dressed with the door chained and a chair under the handle. At 6 a.m. I told myself I was being insane. I had a $4,000 MacBook, noise-canceling headphones, my favorite hoodie, all my chargers, everything still in that house. I needed to grab my stuff and leave forever. 10 minutes in and out during daylight. That was the plan. I got there at 7:15 a.m. Monday. The cottage looked innocent in the morning sun, blue paint cheerful, birds finally chirping like nature decided to show up late. I left the car running, keys in my pocket, door wide open. I told myself if anything felt wrong I'd sprint back. The second I stepped inside I knew I screwed up. The air was wrong. Heavy, thick, like walking into a room someone just screamed in. All the curtains were pulled tight even though I'd left them open. And it smelled wet. Like damp earth and something sweet rotten underneath. I grabbed my backpack from the couch, shoved the laptop inside, snatched my charger from the kitchen counter. 8 minutes, I told myself. Then I'm gone. That's when I heard it. A single drip. 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 Coming from upstairs. Slow, steady, like a faucet someone forgot to turn off all the way. Except every faucet in that house had been bone dry for days. My legs didn't want to move, but I forced myself up the stairs. I don't know why. Maybe I needed proof I wasn't losing my mind. Halfway up, the dripping stopped. Complete silence again. I stood frozen on the steps, heart hammering so loud I swear it echoed. Then the bedroom door at the end of the hall creaked open by itself. Just 2 inches. Enough for a slice of darkness to stare out. I ran back down so fast I almost fell. Grabbed my bag and headed for the front door, but it was already closed. Deadbolt locked. Chain on. I had left it hanging open, I know I did. My hands shook so bad I couldn't get the chain off. Behind me, upstairs, that drip started again. Faster now. Drip 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 drip. Like something was walking, and every footstep left water. I finally got the door open and stumbled onto the porch. Slammed it shut behind me and sprinted for my car. That's when I saw the footprints. Bare feet, long and narrow, wet, leading from the trees straight to the porch steps, then up onto the wood, right to the front door. They stopped exactly where I had just been standing. And brand new ones were forming, slowly, like invisible feet were walking back toward the house while I watched. Water just appeared out of nowhere, printing themselves one after another. I jumped in the car, locked the doors, threw it in reverse, and that's when the passenger window exploded inward. Not broke, exploded. Glass everywhere. Something hit it so hard from outside that the whole window caved in like a fist made of air. I screamed and floored it backward down the driveway. In the rearview mirror I saw the front door of the house open by itself. A shadow stood there. Tall. Thin. Head tilted wrong. It didn't walk, it just slid forward onto the porch, smooth like it was on ice. No legs moving. I shifted into drive and peeled out. The whole time I was crying and shaking so hard I could barely hold the wheel. When I hit the main road I looked back one last time. The figure was standing in the middle of the driveway now, arms hanging too low, watching me leave. And then it raised one hand, slow, like a wave goodbye. I made it 10 miles before I had to pull over and throw up on the side of the road. I thought that was it. I thought I escaped. I was wrong. Because that night, in the motel, safe, 2 towns away, locked door, lights on, I woke up at 3:12 a.m. to the sound of dripping again. Drip. 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 Coming from inside my room. I shot up in bed. The bathroom door was open. Light off. And in the darkness I saw it, clear as day, a trail of wet footprints leading from the bathroom, across the carpet, straight to the side of my bed. They stopped right where my blanket hung down. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. My phone was on the nightstand 6 inches away but my arms wouldn't work. Then the blanket moved. Slowly. Something underneath the bed grabbed the edge and pulled it down, just an inch. Cold air rushed up. I felt fingers, thin, ice-cold fingers, brush against my ankle under the sheet. I screamed, finally, and kicked so hard I fell off the other side of the bed. Scrambled for the lamp, turned it on. Nothing. No footprints anymore. The carpet was dry. Bathroom empty. Door still chained from the inside. But my ankle was wet. 3 long fingerprints of water soaked into my skin, already bruising purple. I checked out at 4 a.m., drove home to Charlotte with no stops, got there at dawn, and I've been sleeping with every light on since. I thought distance would fix it. It didn't. I got back to Charlotte on Monday afternoon, driving 95 the whole way, crying half of it. My apartment felt like a palace, people outside, traffic noise, my own bed. I thought walls and city lights would keep it away. I was so stupid. First thing I did was call the police. I sat in the parking lot of my building for 2 hours waiting for an officer. When he showed up I told him everything, the footprints, the handprint on the car, the dripping, the fingers on my ankle. I even showed him the bruises, 3 long purple lines around my ankle bone like someone had grabbed me with a hand twice the size of mine. The officer listened, nodded, took notes. Then he asked if I had been drinking or taking anything. I swear he smelled my breath. He said without evidence, photos, video, witnesses, there was nothing they could do. He told me to get some rest and left. I still have his card. I look at it sometimes and want to scream. Next I called Airbnb. Spent 4 hours on hold, got transferred 6 times. Finally a supervisor told me the listing for the blue cottage had been removed months ago. When I sent them the link for my booking confirmation, the page just said, "This listing is no longer available." They refunded me the full amount and closed my case in 2 days. No questions. Like they already knew. My mom flew in the same week. She stayed 3 days, slept on my couch, kept saying I looked sick. I didn't tell her the full story, just that I had a bad experience at a rental. She kept hugging me and saying, "You're safe now, baby." I wanted to believe her. Work was worse. I missed every deadline for that big project. My client fired me. I stopped answering emails. I couldn't sit at my desk without staring at the windows. I quit freelancing 2 weeks later. Now I work night shift stocking shelves at a 24-hour grocery store because there are always people around and the lights never go off. I changed everything. I only stay in hotels now, big chains, top floors, no Airbnbs, no VRBO, no nothing. I check the peephole 10 times before I open my door. I sleep with my bedroom light on, bathroom light on, hallway light on. I flinch at dripping faucets. I can't shower unless someone else is in the apartment. I haven't been able to step barefoot on tile since that first wet print on the mat. Some nights are okay. Some nights I wake up at exactly 3:17 a.m. and the air feels thick again. I keep a flashlight and a knife on my nightstand. I've become that guy. And then last night happened. I was editing this video, part 4, the one you're watching right now, wearing headphones, door triple locked, 2 a.m. I paused the footage to take a break and pulled the headphones off. That's when I heard it. Drip. 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 Coming from my kitchen. I live on the 8th floor. No leaks. No one has a key. I sat frozen for a full minute, heart slamming against my ribs. Then I forced myself to stand up, grab the flashlight, and walk to the kitchen doorway. The floor was dry. But on the counter, right where I set my coffee mug every morning, there was one perfect wet handprint. Palm down, fingers way too long, water still spreading outward like it had just been placed there seconds ago. I took a photo this time. I'll put it on screen right now. Look at it. Tell me that's normal. I didn't sleep after that. I sat on the couch with every light on until sunrise, waiting for footsteps that never came. This morning the handprint was gone. No water ring. No mark. Just clean counter like always. I keep telling myself maybe I'm losing it. Maybe the trauma just broke something inside my head. But guys, there's one thing I haven't told you yet. When I was uploading this video tonight, I checked the raw footage from the dashcam I had running the morning I fled the cottage. I never watched it until now because I was too scared. At 0:47 seconds, when my car is backing out fast, you can see the porch in the background. There's no figure standing there. There never was. Instead, if you zoom in and slow it down frame by frame, you can see the reflection in the glass of my car window. Someone was sitting in my passenger seat the entire time I was driving away. Smiling. So here's the question that keeps me awake, the one I need you to think about. If it was already in the car with me when I left, how do I know it isn't sitting right behind me while I'm telling you this? Turn around and check for me. Please. I'm too scared to look.